almost done with the houses. Welcome to Juno V. My name's Becca and I'm an Aries Sun, Scorpio Rising, Gemini Moon, and today we're talking about houses 9 through 12. Okay, so I have here before me some of the work that we've done in the past 2 videos. If you guys haven't seen those videos, make sure to go watch them because I have some information about angular houses, succeedant houses, and cadent houses, which I'm not going to talk about much in this video, but if you're interested in what the different houses do based on the angles that they're in, go check out that one first, then maybe watch the second one, and then perhaps watch this one. But why don't we just jump in with the 9th house, because that's what we're here to do. So the 9th house is the house of philosophy, and it is naturally ruled by Sagittarius. If you guys remember from the last video when we were talking about the 8th house, which is the house of death, sex, and regeneration, we were talking about understanding these questions, but not quite asking them yet. In the 9th house is when we actually start asking those questions. Since it's the house of philosophy, it can also be associated with religion or higher beings of some kind, and what your sort of belief system is and where your morals are. It can also be the house of long journeys, so if this is a very prevalent house for you, taking a lot of trips and traveling a lot can be very beneficial for opening your mindset, as is the case with Sagittarius itself. Different planets in this house will tell you how you go about communicating your belief systems. So if Mercury is in this house, you're probably very vocal about it. You might be a politician of some kind or a religious leader of some kind. If Venus is in this house, your religion or your faith is probably very personal to you. It's something that you care about, but you don't necessarily need to tell everyone around you. There's also many indicators of not being religious at all, and that's also just fine. Having these sort of beliefs or philosophies that you like to think about, you like to know about, is what we can find in the 9th house. For instance, if an air sign rules this house, you probably like to think about many different ways of subscribing to faith or religion or any sort of belief system of any kind, rather than just having one. You probably like to explore many. If a fire sign rules this house, you might be very adamant on one way, but not necessarily depending on if there's a cusping sign or if there are any other planets in this house. It all just depends on house to house, which is a really annoying thing to say. But as we get further into the birth chart, these houses get more complex as they go on and a little bit more difficult to read. This is also the house that tells you about your relationship to schooling. It can tell you if you want to go into higher education, if you never really had any success at school at all. It's all about the thought, and it's all about having the tools to understand the world that you're living in. So since Sagittarius rules the 9th house, and it's the house of philosophy, I'm just going to draw a little question mark. Nice. Moving into the 10th house, which is the house of career, and its natural ruler is Capricorn. Okay, the key to drawing the Capricorn glyph is to just do it confidently. Whatever. Capricorn being the true ruler of the 10th house just furthers the narrative that Capricorns work hard. The 10th house can show you what sort of career that you're going to be successful in. It can also show you your public perception and how people see you in the world, especially through your work. If an earth sign rules this house for you, you probably are going to go into a very practical career and something that you know that you'll be good at if you work hard enough to achieve. If a fire sign rules this house, you're probably going to go into a more creative career like acting or writing or something like that. If an air sign rules this house, you're probably going to go into a career that allows you to think and allows you to have complete control. If a water sign rules this house, you're probably going to go into a career that your heart is telling you to, rather than something that you might be better at or something that you'll be quote-unquote good at, but rather something that calls to you. So when you're thinking about what career you want to go in, that's not necessarily the career that is going to happen for you. And that's what the 10th house talks about, is the career that you are going to succeed in, not necessarily the career that you want to be in. And the planet that's in this house can further tell you about what type of career this is going to be. So let's say that Venus and Mercury conjunct in this house and it's ruled by Aries. That's a surefire sign that you are probably going to go into an acting career of some kind or a very creative career that allows you to use your voice. If Uranus is in this house and it's ruled by Capricorn, you're probably going to become a business person of some kind with a career that allows you to travel. So maybe being a part of a big corporation that lets you go from place to place and work well in each area. Having that ability to travel is where Uranus comes in because you need that personal freedom. But having a stable job is where Capricorn comes in because Capricorns work hard, true ruler of the 10th house. So since Capricorn is the true ruler of the 10th house, which is the house of career, let's draw a boot, like a ground in the pavement or whatever. I'm just trying to draw stuff that I can. Yeah, sure, that's a boot. Jeez Louise. The 11th house is the house of friendship, and their true ruler is Aquarius. This house will show you the type of people that you like to have around you and also the people that are most beneficial to have around you for your own personal sanity and happiness. So the 11th house can also show you what type of clubs or activities that you'd like to be involved in. If another air sign rules this house, that can probably tell you that you're probably going to be involved in some sort of club that relates to philosophy or something like that. Libra rules my 11th house, and I was in a philosophy club in high school, so I haven't told many people that. It was called Platonic Academy. It was the philosophy of Plato. Okay, moving on. For instance, just using myself as an example, if Libra, it does rule your 11th house, friendship is all about being even. So if I give something and I don't feel like that's being returned, I'm probably not going to continue being friends with that person. And it's not always a conscious decision. It can actually be a real attack on your personal happiness if you're not responding to what this house is telling you. So a lot of times I would get into toxic friendships and it would really do damage on my personal happiness because I wasn't listening to what my 11th house was telling me. And it was telling me that I need to have even friendships. So if I'm giving, I need to be receiving. And that's not true of every sign. So if Leo is ruling the 11th house, you're a friend of the world. It doesn't matter what you're getting from someone else, you give. And that's a beautiful thing as well. It's all about your individual happiness and what's going to make you the best you. Different planets and also if different signs are cusping this house can also tell you what type of friend you are to the world. Again, if Leo is cusping on this house, that can tell you that you're an amazing friend and that you are a giver and not necessarily that you need that from other people. So since Aquarius is the true ruler of the 11th house, which is the house of friendship, let's draw a little smiley face. Yay, friendship! And last but not least, the 12th house, which is the house of secrets and the unknown. Its true ruler is Pisces. And this is another very complicated house because when you think about it, since the birth chart is what we deem as important throughout our lives, none of us that are watching this video right now are probably there yet. So this is very complicated and it's not very easy for us to comprehend being at what stage most of us are right now in our lives. But looking at what planets are in this house, if there's any occupation in this house, if there's anything in this house, that can tell you that you might need to be in solitude more often than not, rather than trying to reach out to other people and constantly be in a group. If any planet is in this house, that's probably telling you that you need to be alone more and you need to be alone with your thoughts and your secrets and be able to comprehend them on a deeper level. In my 12th house, I have my North Node, which I've talked about a lot doing these videos, and I'm not going to completely talk about right now because I want that to be a separate video, but having that in this house can talk a lot about needing to be with yourself and understanding yourself before you can bring anyone else into that world of yours. So this is one of the houses that you will know more about than anyone else that's reading your chart. And I think that's really important to understand because Personally, when I read something in a 12th house, I don't really love to share that because I know that those are secrets. Those are things that I'm not necessarily supposed to know, and that's okay. I think it's more important if you're trying to read someone else's chart to let them know how they should handle these situations and not necessarily what those situations are. So the sign that rules this house can also tell you a lot about how these people handle their secrets or handle things that they don't know. If Mars is in this house, that could tell you a lot about a defensive person or someone who needs to keep their secrets safe and close to home. And always being conscious of those things when you're reading someone's chart is really important, because the goal of reading a chart is not to out someone or like just say this is who you are, deal with it, but it's more about helping people to understand themselves. So if you would see like a Mars in the 12th house, it would be a lot easier to say to someone, hey, keep your secrets safe. No one is going to try to attack you. Like, this is going to be okay. Working through those things, understanding those secrets, is going to make you a happier person. So since Pisces is the true ruler of the 12th house, and it's the house of secrets and the unknown, and we already used the question mark, which I didn't plan ahead for, we'll just do shh. Easy enough. Alright guys, that is the end of the houses video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched all three, you get bonus points in my book. I also have some really cool stuff planned out to explain rising signs rather than just the ascendant. They're kind of fun videos. It's not completely educational, but I'm gonna do it and nobody can tell me that I'm not. But that's it for today's video. I post every Tuesday and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! So a lot of times I would get into